Welcome everyone to my review of the Ultraman Tiga SH Figuarts Shinkocchou Seihou version of this figure. So this figure, before we begin, I'd just like to talk a little about the history of Ultraman Tiga and what it really means to me. So Ultraman Tiga is actually one of the very first Ultramans that I was able to watch, I guess concurrently when it was live, or when it was airing on television, because it was the first Ultraman to come back after Ultraman 80, ending a 15-year hiatus. And it's actually the first Ultraman to change forms, which is kind of cool. It's the first of the series. So I think they took a page out of Kamen Rider on that one, so it's kind of cool. And it was also cool for me is Ultraman's one of those rare series that, my mom actually knows about, because she grew up watching the old Ultraman, or at least she did with her brothers. So Ultraman has a cool place in my heart, But for this Ultraman here, I only caught glimpse episodes here and there for the show. Didn't really get to see all of it, but every time I did see it, I always really liked the design of the costume. Every time he changed forms, it was super cool. So when SH Figuarts came out with this version of the figure, I knew I had to get it because it's just super cool. And because of this, I think I'm actually gonna go back and watch the show. Catch all episodes of it. Finally watch it all in all its glory. Maybe hold the figure side by side and relive some of the scenes. Be kind of cool. So let's jump right in and talk about the figure. If we look here, for the purpose of this review, I kept all the protective coverings here, just because there's just a lot of paint rub from what I've been seeing. Personally, none on mine so far, fingers crossed, but from everything I've seen, the paint rub is no joke, and it's very serious. So let's take a look. Let's take it off the stand, take a closer look. So put the stand over there. So here we are. Here's Ultraman himself. So you look, he stands about 6 inches in height. It's actually about 5.9, but 6 inches in height. So that's the height for him. So if we take a look about each of the materials, let's start with the legs. So with the legs here, it's interesting choice of material, playing around with it. I've noticed I personally like these figures in scale because they're posable. You could do things with it, pose. They don't have much presence as they say a 1/6 scale figure, but for 1/12, the detail in this is amazing. Seriously amazing. And the proportions too, because if we take a look at the proportions, so the purpose of the Shinkocchou Seihou line is to make it look basically real. Real in the sense that there's an actual person in the suit. And I think they've done a great job. So they've really scaled back on the toyetic features of this. The proportions look amazing. There's lots of details here and there crammed into the suit that you might have not otherwise seen. For example, you look up here, there's some wrinkles, some texturing right up here on the shoulder, right here, and some folding along the sides. So that's really cool. That's really cool. Let's talk about materials that they used. They used a hard plastic here for the legs. The frame goes all the way up here. This is also a hard plastic. This is also a hard plastic, but it has almost like a velvety kind of texture to it. Here is where we get a little interesting and kind of controversial. So let me point out the parts where you really don't have to worry about. So the hard plastic up here on the arms, all the way down. Actually, no, sorry. Hard plastic here. It's like a soft plastic here that wraps around the hand. That's why the tab is still there, just to protect the paint from rubbing off. Hard plastic again on the arms here, all the way down the legs, even up on the head. But where we get interesting with it is the chest area, right here, all the way up to the groin. This is all rubbery type of material, so you can see I press into it. You can press into it, you can see, and I understand why they did that, but at the same time, I don't really like it, just based on the longevity of the piece. I mean, entropy exists. You're not gonna get away with any damage over time, but I feel like with longevity, I mean, I like collecting these Figuarts because you could leave it in poses and not have to worry about them, fiddle around with these figures. Unlike certain Hot Toy figures, like 1/6 scale figures, you know, you have to worry about damaging the figure. You pay so much money for it, you can't really have fun with it. So I like these figures because you can have fun with it and fiddle around with it, take cool pictures if you want, pose them up. But the reason why they did this is to preserve articulation and make sure they keep the appearance of the figure to make it look just like it did in the show. So if we look, so this looks good, but if you were to do, for example, the cross-hand pose that Ultraman are known for, you're gonna run into some issues if it doesn't flex. So here we see it has to flex. And you can see why I'm keeping the tabs here to protect it. So it reaches over, and then you can do that. So let's try that out. See? It needs to flex just like that. So it's kind of tough to do, but you can see if I didn't have that there, all that paint would be rubbing off right now. So we can see bending here too, see that? There's a bit of a bend right there. I mean, otherwise it's cool. I think it's great, but you can see that for yourself. So let's just go over articulation really quick then. So the neck can move up and down like that. You can swivel around, rotate, and do stretches all the way around. So it's kind of cool. The chest piece right here, this can removed and changed. You saw in the previous video unboxing. You can change to the running out of energy light. So he's not running out of energy yet, so we'll keep that on. Let's put that back. All right. So the arms, again, they can move up and down like this, but they can swivel out. So they're on butterfly joints, so you can actually pull it out like that. So you want to be careful with the paint rub again, you know. So just be careful when you do that. Take that out. Then there's that. There's a swivel up here. You can move it back and forth. Elbow joint. There's a little bit of extra articulation here to move back and forth here. But this allows you to take the arm off too to create the special effect. So fist is on swivel again. The chest is up here, so you want to be careful of paint rub. So just be careful when you do that. Don't put too much stress on it. And this part here is rubber, so you can actually bend it. So you get an extra bend like that. So there's that. See a bit of a tummy. Bent over like that. And the legs, you can kick back. You can kick pretty far up. So it's a drop down method too here. You can drop down the legs. You can kick it all the way up. Push it all the way to the side. And you can hear the rubber squeaking. Bend like that. The toe bend. Ankle swivel here. Like that. And that's really much to it. I mean, I'll try to put some photos together for everyone to see, because I really think talking over the figure is good and all, but I feel like showing you some of the pictures that will really highlight what this figure can do. So just stay tuned to that. And if you have any comments on how to improve these reviews, definitely leave some. Or if there's anything you want to see in these reviews, definitely let me know in the comments below. So I will check you guys later. Thank you, everyone.
Wheel sounds. Wheel sounds. Wheel sounds.